what does India Inc. think of the economic survey, and what are the expectations of the budget which will be presented in these COVID times on the 1st of February 2021? I would like to introduce all our guests this evening. Shobhana Kamineni, Executive Vice Chairman of the Apollo Hospitals Group. We also have Mr. Vikram Kirloskar, Vice Chairman of the Toyota Kirloskar Motor Group. Samiran Chakravarti, Chief Economist of the Citi Group, and Mr. Soumyakanti Ghosh, Chief Economic Advisor of the State Bank of India. Thank you very much to all you ladies and gentlemen. Ms. Kamineni, let's begin with you first. You must have seen and heard and read excerpts of the economic survey which has been released. It highlights what is the vision. It's almost a sort of a vision document. Do you think that that all of this is achievable in these COVID times, given the fact that the past 1 year has been an extremely challenging task to keep the economy afloat?
I think it's important that we recognize that it's been a year unlike any other. So I didn't expect an economic survey to run on the same lines as it has in the past. So I'm actually kind of pleased. More pleased than ever that they actually took, more depth into what could be and the possibilities. For example, the survey highlights that both economic growth and inequality have a similar relationship with socio-economic indicators, health, education, life expectancy, infant mortality, crime rates, and drug usage, mental problems. I think that's a good direction, because if you look at it, they're planning to actually go behind that and say, let's do more for Ayushman Bharat. Let's spend another 2% on health, because these health indicators, this is a pandemic season. Finally, health is front and center. And I'm concentrating on that because I know you have two economists here and you have Vikram who talk about manufacturing. So I do think it's important that there's a balance of socio-economic indicators, there's a balance of bringing services into this mix. So I like the direction of this, of the economic survey that we saw.
Yeah, it's an important point. The health sector, the point that you mentioned, is extremely important because that finds a prominent mention in this economic survey. So I'm going to come back to you so that you can elaborate further. But Mr. Kirloskar, you know, the manufacturing sector, do you think that the government has been able to match vision to reality as far as boosting manufacturing in this country?
You know, I think last year is not so much about vision as much as trying to stay, I think, above things. And in that respect, to my experience, except for the first 3 months of serious lockdown, which was, I think, pretty well handled. We were in the midst of things. Some things were missed, but overall, compared to many other countries, the whole COVID thing was pretty well handled. I think has given us has led us to a certain amount of recovery going on now. If you look at the results of a lot of companies in the last 2 quarters, you'll find that they have changed the way they have worked. They've become more efficient. They have adapted to COVID, to this kind of situation, to the lockdowns, to work from home, and actually improved efficiencies and effectiveness of their assets much, much better than before. So I think there is a strong push for competitiveness. I did not hear I have not been able to listen to Shobhana. I haven't been able to hear what she said. But I think the main issue for me as we go ahead is jobs. If we have to grow as a country, if we have to do well, whether it's manufacturing, services, agriculture, everywhere, as a country, we have to increase jobs in this country. And to my mind, there are 2 major issues on when I look at jobs from a very simplistic viewpoint. One is on the demand side. We have to look at increasing consumption and increasing infrastructure. They're the 2 major things that can help us spending in improving consumption and improving infrastructure that can help us create jobs. Whilst on the supply side, most important is competitiveness. When you talk of manufacturing, the most important issue is competitiveness. Indian consumers, when we say we want to increase consumption, must get the benefit of world-class pricing and quality. There's no reason why an Indian consumer should get anything less. So whatever I'd like to see in the budget to help India get competitive so that our consumers will get the same kind of quality and price will be very, very good. Let me quickly just talk on the auto sector.
Yeah.
There were three major asks we had. One was regarding regulation. We've lost almost a year of financial performance in this year of COVID. Push back some of the regulations that we've talked about with the government on the auto industry by a year or two to help us recover ourselves on this. Second is scrappage policy, but I think I'm very pleased that finally government has come up with some good ideas on scrappage policy, whether it's green tax, whether it's scrapping of old vehicles. I think it's a great start. It'll go ahead. And the third thing is on supply chains, to make supply chains efficient and cost effective. I think all the steps that are required to do this is important. Atmanirbhar is very important for manufacturing. To my mind, it means build up confidence to manufacture high quality and cost effective products. Sure. So whatever support that comes from the budget for this is what I'm looking for as we go ahead.
All right. All right, Mr. Kirloskar, many would say that it's been a pretty good run for the automobile sector of late, actually, with a lot of cars selling. But I get the point of the time loss, and we'll come back to this in just a short moment. But Mr. Ghosh and Mr. Chakrabarti, you've got to do with the banking sector. Mr. Ghosh, let's begin with you first. A lot of the Atmanirbhar Bharat and the initiatives that were announced had to do with loans being given by banks to support the MSME sector, to support small businesses, to support individuals. But the point is, and the initial assessment was that there is a definite mismatch in these entities reviving themselves and the bank's willingness to give these loans. Do you think that was a crucial time wasted?
No, Sanket, I think if you actually look into the steps which the government took initially in terms of supply side reforms, and for example, if I just take the specific example of the credit link guarantee scheme for the MSME enterprises, I think the numbers actually speak for themselves. The banks, all the banks, I'm talking about public, private, even everybody, they have expended loans of around 2.1 lakh crores. I think this number may have gone up further to around 80 lakh entities. And any number you pick up in terms of the credit disbursement, in terms of the credit guarantee support in the last couple of months, that has been a success, and specifically this credit guarantee program, because it is not the case that it has been concentrated on one part of India. If you look into all states, I mean, eastern, western, central, northern, at least if you look into our portfolio, it has been a disbursement all around. So from that point of view, that initial handholding of MSME sector trying to come out of the stress was needed, and that I think has worked very well. However, having said that, I think now is the point that the economy recovery seems to have gained more traction than what it was anticipated. I think as of now, I think that it could be, given the fact that we have the MSME sector has been able to survive that initial onslaught in terms of handholding from the banks in terms of credit guarantee schemes, and also the NBFC sector's easy fund availability, given that the central bank has been very considerate in keeping the liquidity in an extended surplus mode for a significant period of time. So all these have ensured that the economy had remained in a state of action during this time when the lockdown was in enforced.
Sure.
But now is the time, as the economy has opened up, and we can definitely see that the growth rate has been much better than expectation. Now may the time for these units to expand and see how the things materialize in the near future.
Sure. Okay. Mr. Chakrabarti, would you like to weigh in? The question remains the same. The bank's willingness to lend, is that now a problem of the past?
So let's look at it from the perspective of last year versus this year, being a pivot from a survival strategy going into a revival strategy in 2021. So all that Shomo was talking about, that kind of connects with last year's survival strategy of the government and the enterprise in the post-pandemic period. Now we are moving into a 2021 where we believe that The sequencing is going to be rural demand was already strong. Now with the vaccination coming in, there will be a pickup in urban demand. When both rural and urban demand will get back to their pre-COVID levels, we will reach a point where we should see a private capex recovery. There are other preconditions which are already in place. Interest rates are very low. Private sector profitability has improved. Private sector has deleveraged. Government is providing support to the PLI schemes. We have seen a nascent real estate recovery. So all those preconditions are in place. As soon as the capacity utilization levels improve on the back of improvement in demand, we should start seeing that private capex coming in. The moment the private capex comes in, you would start seeing credit growth pick up, credit demand pick up from the banking system. Right now, what's happening is the credit growth is only in the retail sector and somewhat in the MSME, not so much for the large corporate. Once the large corporates come into play in the middle of this year, we should start seeing close to double-digit growth in bank credit.
Sure. Okay, my final question to Ms. Kamineni. You spoke about the healthcare, and that finds a prominent mention in the economic survey also, where the chief economic advisor says that if we should move the spend on healthcare, public spend on healthcare to 2.5% of the GDP, then the annual out-of-pocket expenditure of people, of individuals, will come down from 65% to 35%. Now, Ms. Kamineni, many would turn around and say that this is common wisdom. I mean, it's like stating the obvious. So what exactly needs to be done beyond stating this? Like, for instance, why could this not have happened earlier?
Okay, first thing is about the vaccine. And I think this year is all about the vaccine.
Yeah.
So this money, a lot of it is going to be spent on that. The government is willing to give it through for people above 50. So that's a huge expenditure. Now, how fast people will do it, will get it, and how, the distribution system involved private, I think that's primarily where money is going to go. The second thing is that as we go deeper, now that the PMJAY, and they've got this down, the number of people insured state-wise, they have data, they have the experience. So as more and more people get into the scheme, money will be spent, money will be saved, money will be actually, that there'll be more efficiency. Having said that, I think that it'll be, not prudent for me to say that unless we're spending money on capital gains, not on just redistribution, just distributing it out there. We need to spend money on capital, build better infrastructure, whether it's telemedicine, whether it's actual hospitals that need to be done in rural areas. So capital expenditure. So as Vikram said, it's about creating jobs. It's about using that money for capital expenditure. And the last thing that I would like to say, which is interesting for the entire industry, is that just imagine we got through the pandemic because we were the world's medicine suppliers. So here we are, we had world-class competency. We're in a safe position with vaccines in terms of numbers because we're the world's vaccine supplier. So just imagine if we can take that one step further and say that we can become the world's manufacturer of medical devices and of medical services. Yeah. And so that you have the whole economic cycle of healthcare, not just for India, but possibly for the rest of the world. It's a great example for the entire economic foundation and jobs.
Okay, Ms. Kamineni, Mr. Chakravarti, Mr. Ghosh, as well as Mr. Kirloskar, thank you very much.